What if you could watch any broadcast TV show on your computer or iPad anytime you want it? That's the promise of Aereo, a new streaming TV service. Problem is, the networks see Aereo as a major threat, and they're trying to squash it in court. Adam Riley has more.
The real live 24/7 TV we know and love, it's not on the internet. Until now. Now there's Aereo.
Here's how Aereo works. You pay either $8 or $12 a month. In return, Aereo assigns you one of their tiny TV antennas and uses it to capture any broadcast shows you want. Then Aereo streams those shows to you live or saves them for you to watch later.
We think of Aereo as the simplest way you can get television online. There's no box, no wires.
Problem is, Aereo isn't paying the networks anything to be a middleman, unlike the cable companies, which pay the networks billions.
It's going to reach $3 billion this year by some estimates, so $3 billion is a lot of money to lose.
And so the networks are suing. But last week, a federal judge sided with Aereo. In response, some networks warned that they might stop broadcasting over the airwaves altogether.
Fox and Univision say they might convert to pay cable channels, forcing all consumers to pay to view.
As Fox COO Chase Carey explains, we can't sit idly by and let Aereo steal our signal. Of course, the networks could eventually decide to partner with Aereo instead. Whatever happens, Aereo's CEO sounds confident.
Technology creates opportunities, and you can either be with it or you can try to stop it. History shows stopping technology usually doesn't end well.
And trying to stop Aereo hasn't worked yet.
This is interesting because legally, the reason courts have sided with Aereo is because they're just selling you a device. They're not stealing anybody's signal. They're selling you a device so that you can take the signal directly. And, you know, some would argue, well, you know, if you're taking it live, you're watching the commercials that Fox is putting on anyway. The problem comes with the storage factor, because a lot of people are, of course, you know, I don't know what the Aereo term for TiVoing is, but that's what they're doing. They're storing it or tape delaying it, putting it in a box, and, of course, then you are running through the commercials.
Well, to be clear, they're not selling us a device. They're selling us access to the device. So the antenna rests with them as well as the DVR, just so everybody, and we just rent the access.
We rent the, the little antenna thing. Yeah.
You know, change is coming. I mean, to cable, to broadcast. Several months ago, a bunch of people signed a petition, thousands said, we want to get HBO. We want Bill Maher. We want, you know, we want what HBO has to offer. And Time Warner said, well, thank you so much, but you can keep your money. We won't be selling you HBO, right? Because the major companies, and it is so consolidated now, something like 95% plus of the channels. You may get 400 channels, but they're all owned by, I think, 7 companies. I mean, it is incredibly consolidated. They do not want, they've got a good thing going, and they are not interested, Viacom, Time Warner, in breaking it up. But I think the breakup is coming. It's coming to cable, and it's coming to broadcast over the air, and I'm sure it's going to be very painful. And the cable companies, the cable visions, they've got a good thing going. They have you paying a lot of money, and those fees are only going to go up, partially because, in fact, mostly because of sports and the incredible amount of money that the NFL, Major League Baseball, is able to command, and that then, you know, ESPN passes on to the consumer. But I think Aereo, and Barry Diller's on the side of Aereo, it's just the beginning of a huge breakup that's coming to TV, I think.
You know, it's legally, this is fascinating, and I haven't read any of the court decisions, but nevertheless, it strikes me that what Aereo is doing is so similar to what the cable companies are doing when they rebroadcast local TV signals, and they have to pay retransmission fees. And although I certainly have no love for the TV industry, I feel a little bit sympathetic for them in this case because I really don't see what the difference is. Interestingly enough, it was only a generation ago that the Supreme Court came within one vote of outlawing the VCR. And now here we are today, and the courts are saying, well, really, this is fine. Aereo can do what it wants. And it just seems to me that this can't go on. There's going to be some sort of resolution. Whether there's a deal or what, I don't know.
Well, first of all, full disclosure, I work for WBZ, which is owned and operated by CBS, which is one of the networks that's been vocally critical of this new service. Having said that, my opinion is my own, and I want to cry BS on that self-righteous CEO of Aereo. Oh, all we're doing is renting you the device. Oh, okay. I think I'll rent you a Slim Jim. And if you use it to steal cars, well, that's not on me, you know? Come on. Remember when you could, back in your college days, when they'd have pay phones and there was a certain kind of slug you could put in? You did that too, huh? Anyway, but Kara's got the main point here, which is that change is coming. And something tells me that smart broadcast executives will figure out a way to adapt to that change and maintain their profits, if not their profit margins.
Yeah, I mean, they got to figure out a way to deliver all of these things to mobile devices and laptops and, you know, iPads instantaneously, because that's what people want. They're carrying it around with them. They want to go to ding and watch WBZ with John Keller.
Well, of course.
Well, I would say I would change the tense to this and say change has already come. People are voting with their feet. You know, my niece stayed with me this past summer. She never looked at broadcast ever. Not, you know, I was like, oh, did you want to look at TV? Nah. She get everything she wants and this already in the Netflix world and everything else, and that was fine with her. So I think it's going to be a question of just which one of those networks decides that they want to either own this thing or partner with this thing so that they can be on top of it, because it's beyond, it's coming, it's here.
Yeah, well, one of the things we're seeing is we've entered a generation of people who are both cord cutters, people who are like, I'm not paying $130 a month for cable. And the new term from the industry is cord nevers. The people who were never hooked up, the people who were like, whatever, I can get things through Netflix.
Yeah, no, I pay way too much.
And what you know, John said is right. They have to figure out different profit models. They will. The answer is going to be that content is king, right? The people who have the talent, the Game of Thrones, the Tudors, you know, whatever it is that people want, they're going to be the winners. And already you see Amazon, Netflix, they're buying shows that were never on the air, and they don't care that they were never on broadcast. They're just going to own them.
I just want to add one more point. For those of us who hate sports, I'm annoyed that I have to pay all this money for all these sports channels.
Right.
I don't want it.
Right.
You know what?
You know.
I was going to say, I have a friend who, if I'm over visiting him and we want to watch a sports event, he doesn't have cable. He's pretty much always able to find a feed on the internet of the sports event he wants. So.